بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم إنا نسألك العلم والتعلم والإفادة والاستفادة والذكرى والتذاكر والدراسة والمدارسة. My dear respected brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And we continue inshallah with the lesson in the chapter of purification, and we had reached the section of al-wudu and the obligations of wudu. So the author Imam al-Hadrami rahimahullah wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bi'ilmih قال فروض الوضوء ستة. The obligations of wudu are 6, and by this means that they are the necessary aspects of the wudu, which if are fulfilled then the wudu is correct. So what are they? Al-awwal niyatu raf'i al-hadath. So the first thing is the intention. As with any act of ibadah, and indeed any act of righteousness, and indeed any act, if a person wants the reward, should have the intention. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, as the Prophet ﷺ said. So yanwi raf' al-hadath, he has to have the intention of removing the ritual impurity, or he has the intention of making salah permissible, istibahat as-salah. So he must have the intention of this act that he's doing is gonna allow him to pray, or that he's removing the ritual impurity. When does he do the niyyah? When is the correct, like say, the obligatory position of the niyyah? Does anybody know? When should the niyyah be obligatory done?
Before.
Huh? لا لا الوضوء للوضوء.
Before الوضوء.
Before?
The wudu.
No. Not before. And what does before mean?
يعني عندما تتوضأ.
فعند الوضوء.
يعني
عند الوضوء, not before the wudu. And it has to be at the same time of the first of the furud of actions, which is the washing of the face, because the second obligation is washing the face, and so your intention has to be there as you are washing the face. لأن النية تكون مقرونة بأول العمل. Okay, so it has to be there. Now, as long as he has the niyyah at the beginning, if his niyyah goes after that, it's fine. The wudu is still correct. But we will see later on أنه مستحب يستحب أن يستديم النية إلى نهاية الوضوء. He should try to keep the niyyah until the end of wudu. But the main part is the niyyah must be at the beginning. إذا توضأ للسنة, he is making wudu for the sunnah reason, then he's going to make the intention of allowing the permissibility of salah. He's not going to make the intention of removing the hadath, because he doesn't have hadath, he has already wudu. So he's just going to make intention of making the salah permissible again, although the salah is already permissible anyway. So secondly, غسل الوجه, the washing of the face. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم. And al-wajhu is the obviously that we know that what the face is. It's named as a wajh because it's that which means to face somebody. And when you wash the face, you have to wash all the hairs on the face as well. Okay. Common mistake that many people do is they don't wash the hairs on the face. So the hairs on the face would include the eyebrows, the eyelashes. They will include the moustache, and the anfaqa is this, okay? And also the hair. Some people have like a, they call it Dracula. They have like a extra hair here. The hair which goes into their face, okay? So this hair they call it al-ghamam, if it's on there, that also has to be washed. And here, this hair here, which is al-arid, it's called al-arid, so it's the hair from the head, but it's within the boundary. And this area here, which is al-idhar, so all this hair has to be washed, okay? Because basically the face starts from the top of where the head this is the head, and this is the face. Head starts here, face all the way down up to the chin, and then from the side of the ear to the side of the ear. So that is the whole face, okay? All the hairs have to be washed on there, with the exception, as we'll say now, with the exception of the beard. Because if the beard is thin, meaning that you can see the skin underneath it, like brother here, you can look at here, then he has to wash the beard as well, okay? Has to be washed. But if the beard is thick, so you can't see the skin, then you can just wash the outside of the beard. You don't have to reach the skin, okay? So when you're making wudu, you're gonna make sure that you're washing. Don't just wipe here. This has to be washed, and that's why the sunnah is to reduce your moustache. Don't make a thick moustache. You cut the shaved moustache, cut here. So all this hair has to be washed. All right. But the hair of the beard, just on the, if it's thick, just on the outside. Yeah. If it's thin, it has to be washed. The water has to reach the skin. Okay. It's recommended, he said, to interlace al-lihya, takhleel al-lihya min asfal. So also the sunnah is that you, after you've washed your face, to get some water and to run the water under your beard like this. Okay? And to put it, I'm going to do that because I'll pull my hair out. But this, to do this, and this is also the Prophet ﷺ did this and said, هكذا أمرني ربي عز وجل. Except, the exception is not to do this when? What is the exception not to do this? This is mustahab, yeah, to do the takhleel. When is the exception not to do this? Huh? No. Ihram, good, well done. Because as you saw, when I was doing this, I almost pulled the hair out. And ihram, you're not supposed to remove any hair. So if you do this, you might end up pulling some hair out, and that will cause you to have to pay the fidya. So that was the second one. The third one, غسل اليدين مع المرفقين وما عليهما. Washing the hands or the arms up to and including the elbows and everything that's on it. Again, there's no thick or thin hair. You have to wash all the hair, and the water has to reach the skin. Okay? And the same with the both arms. مسح شيء من بشرة الرأس أو شعره في حده is number 4. So to wipe, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم. And so wiping the head, okay, some of the head, all right, and some of the head, either if you don't have any hair, it's going to be the head, or if you have hair, you're going to wipe the hair. And like we said, the head starts from the beginning of the where the hair grows normally, yeah. So if you're bald, it's still this area. It's not where your hair is, and it's the hair right up to including this here, this bone, yeah. This is part of the head, and it goes all the way up to the end of the and the beginning of the neck. So this is all the head. So because the Quran says وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, the ba, Imam Shafi'i said al-ba للتبعيض. Ba is for the part. So when he said بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ means of your head. So anything that's going to satisfy the part is going to be enough. Alright, so even if you just wipe just a little bit of your head, like that is going to be enough for the fard. And if you have spent lots of money doing your hairstyle, and then you have put some hairspray and you don't want to ruin your hair, you can even just wipe here. If you just wipe here, because this is the head, you can just wipe here, that's enough as well to do the fard. You don't want to mess up your hair on your wedding day or something. And al-khamis, the fifth rukun, غسل الرجلين مع الكعبين وشقوقهما, to wash the feet with up to and including the ankles and including the cracks. If you have cracks in your feet, then also the water has to enter into there. All right? And obviously the foot is going to include all the foot, including the heels, right up to and including the ankles. You have to be careful as well, because the Prophet ﷺ warned as well. He said, وَيْلٌ لِلْأَعْقَابِ مِنْ النَّارِ, woe to the heels from the fire, for those people who weren't washing their heels. And sadisan, number 6, at-tartib, has to be done in order. This wudu has to be done in order, because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it in the Quran, He mentioned it in order. So He said, اغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم, عليها فتحة معناتها مفعول به, معناتها واغسلوا أرجلكم. Yeah? So, and then he basically said wash, wipe, and wash. Wash, wipe, wash. So they said this wash, wipe, wash shows the emphasis that it is in order. Because the easier way to have said, if order wasn't important, the easier way would have said wash, wipe. Yeah? But because he included wiping in between two washes, there is an emphasis for the order. And that's why in our madhab it is a rukun for the wudu. فَلَوْ غَطَسَ صَحَّ وُضُوءُهُ وَإِنْ لَمْ يَمْكُثْ. If he were to dip himself into a bowl, and into a large amount of water, and into a lake or a sea, and he made the intention, خلاص, his wudu is correct. Because here the sequence has no need for the sequence, because they're all being washed at the same time. So nothing is before anything. So هذا صح. وإن لم يمكث وتجب الموالاة في وضوء دائم الحدث. We have somebody called دائم الحدث. دائم الحدث هو من ينتقض وضوءه باستمرار. Somebody who is continuously in ritual impurity. This includes someone who has urinary incontinence. سلس البول, and he is always dripping urine. His sphincter there is not able to hold so he's always dropping drips of urine. Or the other one is to a lesser extent, but also it can be سلس الريح, flatulence, somebody who again cannot hold back their wind, always breaking wind. Okay. And thirdly, for a woman, al-mustahada, so a woman who is bleeding abnormally. Okay, so a woman who is not in her period, but she's continuously bleeding. Okay, so her bleeding might last a long time. Maybe she's not. So all these people are called da'imul hadath. Da'imul hadath has to do the wudu in one go. Okay, they can't break up the wudu. Because al-muwala is to do it in one go, not to allow one part of your body to dry before going on to the next part. Yeah? Those people who don't have the continuous impurity, you can make the intention, wash your face, go and answer the telephone, come back, then wash your arms, go and answer the door, come back, wipe your head, go and type up, and then come and wash your feet, and that's fine, because the muwala, which is to be a succession, is not a fard of the wudu. All right. But for somebody who is continuous ritual impurity, it is a fard. So he can't do that, or she can't do that. They have to do the wudu in one go. All right. Why? Because if they were to wash their face and then go away, their wudu is going to be broken. So when they're coming back, they have to start again. Okay, and we'll talk about that inshallah later. وَاسْتِصْحَابُ النِّيَّةِ حُكْمًا, as well, the one who has continuous ritual impurity has to have the niyyah continuous, not just at the beginning of the face. The beginning of the face is for the person who doesn't have the continuous impurity. Okay, دائم الحدث. But the one who has دائم الحدث has to have the intention of wudu continuously from the beginning till the end. All right. So these are the arkan of al-wudu. If you only do this, your wudu is correct. So sometimes you might be in a situation where you don't have water, or maybe you're running out of time. So if you don't have water, you only have a small amount of water, خلاص, you just do the fard. Okay? So you don't have to rinse your mouth. You don't have to wash 3 times, just once. You can wash your face once, arms, wipe some of the head, and then wash the feet. خلاص, that's the obligatory part. Or you've come to the masjid late and the salah is in progress, and you're afraid that if you do a long wudu, you do all day, you're going to miss some of the salah, or maybe even miss the jama'ah. So again, you do the minimum wudu, which is the fara'id. Okay. Is Bismillah an obligatory part of wudu, to say Bismillah?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, I just told you the fara'id are 6. Did I say Bismillah? I just told you these 6, huh? So there's no Bismillah. Bismillah is not obligatory. Okay, so only these 6. Anything else is sunnah, as we will talk about them inshallah. Alright? So what are the sunan of wudu? Sunan of wudu, as-siwak. So to brush the teeth. Siwak, what does siwak mean? Brush the teeth. It doesn't mean the wooden stick. It means any toothbrush, to brush your teeth. At-tasmiyah, so say Bismillah, that is sunnah of al-wudu. And it's better to say it when you're, obviously, at the beginning of wudu, when you're washing your hands, at the beginning of the wudu. As is best to have the intention with washing the hands. We said the fard is to have the intention when you wash the face. The sunnah, extra, is to have the intention when you are washing the hands, as you say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay? Once we had the brother we were on a journey, we stopped at a service station. So the brother went in to make wudu, and the service station, the petrol station. So he went in, the guy's counter was here, the toilet was here, Jallakumullah. So he went in to the bathroom to make wudu. Then he remembered that, actually let me say Bismillah. So he came out of the toilet. When he came out to say Bismillah, the guy said to him, okay, goodbye, see you later. And the guy, so he was embarrassed, and haraj. So he just left this. He wanted to say, come out, say Bismillah, but then he ended up, because later when we stopped again, I said, okay, let's pray. He said, I don't have wudu. Well, we stopped, why didn't you make wudu? And then he told us the story. But Bismillah, so Bismillah is not a fard. If you forget to say Bismillah at the beginning, you can say like you would say with the food. What would you say with the food, if you remember in the middle? Yes, Bismillahi awwalihi wa akhirih. So you say the same, Bismillah awwalihi wa akhirih. If you are in the toilet, meaning that there is a bathroom with a toilet, you're not going to pronounce the Bismillah out loud. You will pronounce it in your heart. Okay? And similarly, if you're in the toilet and you sneeze, وَإِذَا عَطَسَ حَمِدَ بِقَلْبِهِ, with his heart, say Alhamdulillah, not with your tongue. Alright? ثُمَّ غَسْلُ الْكَفَّيْنِ. If إن لم يتيقن طهرهما كره غسلهما في الماء القليل. So if a person wakes up he's not sure if his hands are clean or not, meaning tahir, it's makruh to dip them into, like if you're making wudu from a bucket, it's makruh to dip your hands into the bucket if you're not sure. يعني ظن. If you are sure that your hands have najasa, it would be haram to do that. Why? Because you're gonna be wasting the water, najasa. You have to wash your hands and then put it in the bucket. طبعا في الماء القليل. Washing the hands 3 times, mouth rinsing 3 times, nasal irrigation استنشاق 3 times. والأفضل الجمع بثلاث غرفات. There is a hadith in the Prophet ﷺ, he did it he rinsed his mouth and his nose in 3 scoops. So you take the water, put it in your mouth, then into the nose. And then like that. But if you did the 3 mouths and then the 3 noses, that's fine because it's all sunnah anyway. But better to do it in 3 scoops. It's better to be extreme. المبالغة لغير الصائم. When you are fasting, don't go extreme. Why? Might swallow the water. If you swallow the water by trying to be extreme or extensive or thorough in your washing the mouth or the nose, and water goes down, you've broken your fast. Okay? Why have you broken? You say, I didn't do it on purpose. Well, you shouldn't be doing it excessively. You should take precaution. Yeah? It's like you put food in your mouth and you say, I'm not going to swallow it, I'm just putting my food in my mouth, then I'll spit it. No, don't do anything that is. So, لغير الصائم, if you're not fasting, be extreme. Go down, or even try and get the water up there. That's fine. To do all of the washing and the masih and the takhleel, to do it 3 times. It's recommended to do everything 3 times. Okay? Because usually most people, they will do the washing 3 times, but the masih they'll just do it once, isn't it? And there is a hadith in that regards, but there's also a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ tawadda'a ثلاثا, meaning that he did everything 3 times. So from this, when we come to wipe our heads, we're going to wipe it 3 times as well for the sunnah. مسح جميع الرأس. The sunnah is to wipe all the head. We said the fard is to wipe some of the head. Okay, even if you just wipe a little bit, that's the fard. Yeah, but the sunnah is to wipe all the head. Again, to get the water. You're not washing your head, you're just wiping. So then you're going to start with the front and then all to the way to the back. And then back again, okay? And that's 1. And then to do that again, 3 times, okay? However, if you're wearing something on your head and you don't want to remove that, you can still do that as long as some of your head is apparent. So either maybe your head here, so then you're going to wipe, and then you're going to wipe on the rest of your head, okay? Because the Prophet ﷺ, he did wipe on some of his head, and then he wiped on the rest of the imamah. Don't have to take that off, okay? As long as... Or for a woman who's wearing hijab, doesn't want to take her hijab off, then she would put some of the water inside because she has to wipe some of the head and then the rest over the hijab, okay? But some of the head must be either here or here, has to be wiped. Then مسح الأذنين ظاهرا وباطنا 3 مرات, okay? So with بماء جديد, with new water. So again, once you've wiped your head, don't go straight into wiping your ears. Get some new water, fresh water, and then wipe your ears. Why? Because the ears are a separate limb, okay? And they need the new water, separate limb. All right. 3 مرات ظاهرا وباطنا, the external and the internal. Where's the external part of your ear and where's the internal part? What is that?
That's external. And that's internal.
No.
External here.
External,
the outside part.
Yeah.
And internal inside, all of this.
Yes, roughly. So basically, if you were to go like this, okay, if you were to go like this, whatever is on the outside is external. All right. So all of when you go like this, and whatever is not showing is internal. Okay. Similar with the nose. If you go like this, whatever is when you close your nose like this, whatever is not showing is the external, which needs to be washed when you are doing. But inside doesn't have to be washed. It's sunnah, but not the fard, because we said it's the face. تخليل الأصابع بالتشبيك. This is also sunnah. Alright. وأصابع الرجلين بخنصر اليد اليسرى. When you interlace your feet, toes, you use the small finger on the left. Okay, this little finger on the left, you use that to go in between the, starting with the right and go all the way to the left. والتتابع, تتابع, to do all the wudu in one go, like we mentioned before. التيامن, to start with the right. Okay, where you have two limbs, start with the right. What does that mean? It means that it's not fard to start with the right. Yeah. So if you happen to have washed your left hand, then the wudu is still sound. إطالة غرته وتحجيله. الغرة, in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, وَدَدْتُ لَوْ رَأَيْتُ إِخْوَانِي. I wish that we had seen our brothers. So they said, أَوَلَسْنَا إِخْوَانُكَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. Are we not your brothers? The Sahaba said. He said, you are ashabi. You are my companions. But إِخْوَانِي, my brothers, are those who will come after me. They haven't seen me, but they believe in me. And then the Prophet who is asked, how will you know them? He said, they will come on the day of judgment. غُرًّا مُحَجَّلِينَ min athar al-wudu. So they will come from the effect of wudu. They will have al-ghur and muhajjal. Al-ghur, basically, you might have seen some horses. They are brown or black, but they have a white streak on their head and the white streak on their limbs. So this white streak, basically the Prophet ﷺ said, the areas of wudu will come as white light on the day of judgment. So he can recognize the light from the wudu that they will come. So it's recommended to increase al-ghurra, because in the hadith the Prophet ﷺ said, inna ummati ta'ti يوم القيامة غرا محجلين من آثار الوضوء فمن استطاع أن يطيل غرته فليفعل. Whoever can increase his ghurra, let him do so. Now some of the hadith scholars say that this extra sentence فمن استطاع أن يطيل غرته, some say this is not the saying of the Prophet. This is the saying of Abu Huraira, who is narrating the hadith. Alright? So that's why there's a difference amongst the ulama about this. But the Shafi'i position is that you should increase your ghurra, means increase the place of the light, means go beyond the boundaries. We said this is the boundary of the face. To increase it means to go beyond the boundaries, washing even here and here. So you're going beyond the boundaries of the face, going beyond the boundaries of the elbows. So even washing this here and going up the legs as well. Okay. Also, because there is in a hadith, إن الحلية تبلغ. Where is this hadith? إن الحلية لتبلغ من المؤمن محل الوضوء. يعني the hilya, the jewelry and the gold that a person will be given on the day of judgment, it will on the Jannah, and when he goes to Jannah, it will reach all the areas that he has wudu. Okay. Now this, some people said, well, people don't usually wear jewelry up here, so I know you're going to have all jewelry up here. But then they say, well, khalas, we don't know. The day of judgment is not, we can't measure the dunya on the day of judgment. Allahu a'lam how people will be wearing jewelry on that day. But so that's why I'm saying, even the more you increase your wudu, the more you get jewels, basically, and jewelry on that day. وَتَرْكُ الْإِسْتِعَانَ بِالصَّبِّ إِلَّا لِعُذْرٍ. It's recommended to not ask for help. Why? Because it's a ibadah. Your ibadah, you should be doing it by yourself. Okay? إِلَّا لِعُذْرٍ. You have an excuse, you are ill, you can't move, etc., or you need some help, then yes. But if you don't need help, there's a form of arrogance here to ask people to pour the water for you. Things like that. You should just carry on with the wudu by yourself. ويكره النفض والتنشيف بثوب إلا لحر أو برد أو خوف نجاسة. It's recommended to, because wudu again is ibadah, it's recommended not to remove the effect of the ibadah. Remember, like we said with the siwak بعد الزوال. So wudu is ibadah, so it's recommended not to dry your wudu unless there is a reason. What's the reason? Cold or very hot. You're worried that your body will become sticky, or you're afraid that if you remain wet, some najasa might become onto you, like we said with the samad and etc. All right. ويستحب تحريك الخاتم, recommended to move the khatam if the water reaches the underneath. It's recommended to remove the khatam. If the water doesn't reach, meaning the khatam is very tight, you have to move it. Becomes fard to move it. Okay? Because if you make wudu and there's nothing, then you basically just move it, wash underneath and put it back. Alright? So that's why he's put it here in the sunnah, because we're assuming that the water is going to get underneath it normally. If it's not getting underneath it, you have to remove it. To start with the top of the head. So when you wash your head, start with the top and go down. When you start with your arms and your foot, you're going to start with the fingers. So that's why we wash like this. Okay? Unless somebody is washing for you, then you're going to start like this, other way around. Okay? So if somebody's pouring for you, they will pour from here, and then you wash it that way. If you're doing it yourself, you do it like that. Okay. Also recommended to rub. Okay, rub the. Yani, if you took the wudu and you took the water and just went like this, and the water reached everything, that's fine. But recommended to also rub, because for the tathhir and the. والاستقبال, meaning to face the qibla, is recommended as well when you're doing wudu, because here ashraful jihad, the best of all directions. It's recommended to put your vessel, which has the water, on your right side, if you have enough space. You have to make wudu with at least a mud. A mud is half a liter, which is basically like this. And the Prophet ﷺ's wudu was not less than a mud, half a liter. And his ghusl was not less than a sa'. And sa' is 2 liters. Alright, so that's the minimum amount. But also, it shows you that with that kind of amount, that's enough to make wudu. وَأَنْ لَا يَتَكَلَّمَ فِي جَمِيعِ وُضُوئِهِ إِلَّا لِمَصْلَحَةٍ, shouldn't talk in doing the wudu unless there is a reason or for a purpose. وَيُكْرَهُ لَطْمُ وَجْهِهِ بِالْمَاءِ, like this. Don't do that, okay? Why? Because they said it's like unnecessary torture for yourself. وَلَا وأن يقول بعده, also recommended to make the dua, which is أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم اجعلني من التوابين واجعلني من المتطهرين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Alright. ولا بأس بالدعاء عند الأعضاء. If somebody wants to make dua while they're doing the washing, he said لا بأس, meaning that it's mubah, it's not sunnah. Why? Because there's nothing narrated to it. Some people say, Allahumma بيض وجهي يوم تبيض وجوه, Allahumma أعطني كتابي بيميني, Allahumma ثبت قدمي, and they make the dua لا بأس. He said لا بأس, nothing, it's not, it's mubah, it's not sunnah. But if you want to do it, it's up to you. Because generally wudu, dua is recommended. You can make dua, and you can make dua whenever you want. Nobody's gonna say to you, don't make dua. And the last section about the makruhat of wudu. Okay, يكره الإسراف في الصب فيه. So it's disliked, makruh, to be extravagant, يعني to waste water. Okay. ويكره تخليل اللحية الكثة للمحرم. It's disliked to do the takhleel of the beard for the one who's on ihram, like the brother mentioned. والزيادة على ثلاث. It's disliked to wash more than 3 times, okay? Because the Prophet ﷺ, yani, that was his maximum. He was doing 3 times. Any more than this is not going to get you extra points, yani. So it will be a form of يعني تجاوز. And then we said الاستعانة بمن يغسل أعضاءه إلا لعذر. So don't seek help of anybody unless there is a reason.
When you say it's makruh when تخليل اللحية in ihram.
Yes.
Because if the hair is coming.
Yes.
If it's the hair is coming, you do like this at the hair table.
Huh?
If you حكيت وشك وطلعت شعرة بيدك, scratch your hair.
Yes. So
some hair is coming. It's
yeah. But if you remove a hair, then you have to
pay attention. But that's is coming. Sometimes when you do like this, is hair coming to your hand.
Yeah, but يعني, but you still, it's still يعني, it's what it is. There is a distinction between what is the obligation and what is recommended. So, for example, when we said المبالغة لغير الصائم, yeah. So المبالغة, washing the nose, is not فرض, yeah. But to not nullify your fasting is فرض. يعني ما تريد أن تكسر صومك. فعدم كسر الصوم مقدم على السنة. تخليل اللحية we said is سنة.
أنا قصدي اليوم مش بس تحليل يعني أحيانا أنت تحك وجهك وتوقع شعره من عندك أو
إيه بس هذا لحاجة
يعني
حتى حاجة
تجي بيدك هيك تسوي هيك هذا شعرات تجي بيدك.
إيه بس هذه يعني this is like an exception. يعني قصدي إذا واحد يعني الأصل الإنسان ما يسقط شعره بس إلا إذا يكون مريض. But what we're saying is because تخليل اللحية سنة وعدم نزع الشعر هو من يعني ترك نزع هذه من واجبات أو من محظورات الإحرام. فمحظورات الإحرام مقدمة على السنة. فلا تعمل شيء قد يوقعك في هذا هو القصد. بس إذا كان مثلا كان لازم تغسل ووقع شعر هذا خارج عن إرادتك صح. لكن بما أنه سنة فلا تفعل. ذلك قال مكروه وما قال حرام. مكروه لأنه قد تخلع معها شعر فيكون بعدها راح تترتب عليها يعني صيام أو صدقة أو نسك. يعني وصلت الفكرة.
You can do wudu in the shower, isn't it? You can do wudu in the shower.
Yes.
It's acceptable.
Yes, you can.
So, Shaykh, also when you say you are not sure if your hand is clean.
Yes.
And you want to make wudu from bracket, so how you get the water? If you don't have
No,
any.
you
You can't make it by your hand or just you need some.
No, if you can, you get something to pour. That's the ideal way. Get maybe another and then pour and wash your hand and then use it. Yeah. Or from the bucket. يعني طبعا إذا كان يقين you have to do that. إذا كان شك.
يعني بالدرس الماضي قلت أنت يعني ما يجوز تحط إيدك داخل الماء إذا كانت نجس فيها شو اسمه حيتنقص الماء كله.
إيه صح.
يعني بالإيد قصدي يعني فهو
بالإيد.
إيه يعني تدخل إيدك أنت قلت إذا كان.
إيه فما تدخله طبعا. إيه. وذلك قال يعني إذا لم يتيقن طهارتها يكره له أن يغمسها. هذا إذا لم يتيقن. لكن إذا تيقن نجاستها يحرم عليه لأنه راح ينجس الماء كله.